Today we're gonna be visiting the most iconic restaurants from every decade in New York, starting from the 1700s to the 2020s. I'm here with my friend Brian. You ready?
Let's go, I'm hungry.
All right, so first spot, we're actually gonna be visiting the 1760s here at France's Tavern. Let's go. Bro, look at how old these doors look.
This restaurant is literally older than America itself.
This is what New York looked like back in 1717.
So in colonial America, a house would cost typically between 100 to 200 pounds. In today's money, it would be around 15 to 30,000.
Are you serious?
Man, why weren't we born in 1770s, bro?
Whoa,
thank you.
It's a huge fish. All right, guys, so right here we have our clam chowder, chicken pot pie, this massive fish and chips.
Back in the days, a meal would cost typically a couple of shillings, and that would equate to 1/20th of a pound. Typically $5–10 in today's money.
Why don't we start with the clam chowder? We'll start with our appetizer here.
All right. Salt and black pepper was a commodity back then. The word salary comes from salt. Roman soldiers would get paid in salt and other spices.
And now we got salt on the table everywhere we go. All right, let's try this clam chowder, bro. Wow.
Honestly, if this recipe is the same as back in the 1770s, it's a really good recipe.
For the next dish, we have our chicken pot pie.
It's actually my first time ever eating chicken pot pie.
Whoa. Dude, we got chicken, peas, carrots.
Pastry looks really
Very fluffy, very airy.
This is really good. Yeah.
Very hearty. I will say a little bit bland. This dates back to ancient Rome and medieval England. So they just took whatever was readily available and took that concept. So you're talking about chicken, any vegetables they had. They literally just put it all together into one dish and then they made it the chicken pot pie. Let's go on to the fish and chips. Usually they do like half the size, but they literally sacrificed the whole fish for us. Soy sauce. Coming to the oldest restaurant in New York City, I was expecting a very dingy restaurant with not so great food. It's more of a touristy trap. But this place so far, the flavors are pretty solid, man.
Yeah.
So we're off to a good start. I think we're ready for the next decade. All right, now we're gonna go all the way into the 1880s. Right behind me is PJ Clark's, the first cheeseburger spot in New York City. It was actually built in 1868, and in 1884, it got converted into a saloon for Irish immigrants.
And then later on, a guy named PJ Clark took the place over, hence the name PJ Clark's.
Let's go check it out. So right now, the PJ's 1884 cheeseburger is 24 bucks. Back in the day in the 1880s, a cheeseburger is typically 15 cents.
A typical man's pay was about $1 a day.
All right, guys, we have our 1880s burger here. Man, I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty good. Pretty juicy, actually. Very meaty. Let's dig in. I would say it's a pretty solid burger. Really just focusing on the ingredients. You know, like over the years, food has progressed, but this one is like stays back in its time. You have your soft potato buns, a thick medium rare patty. We have our American cheese, tomato, lettuce in there.
I would give it a solid 8 out of 10.
What do you think of the fries, bro?
10 times better than McDonald's fries.
The fries are very thin, crispy, and airy. I would say that these fries might be better than the burger itself.
Honestly though, considering the history, it's a timeless burger.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's worth $24 for a cheeseburger, but I think we gotta go to another timeless spot in the 1880s. Let's go. All right, now we're on to 1888. Behind us is Kat's Deli. You know, everybody knows this spot, but they got so much history that we gotta go inside and check it out. Let's go, man.
Let's go, man, I'm hungry.
Dude, look how busy this place is. So as soon as you enter, you're given a ticket and you're not allowed to leave unless you have this ticket. There's a line of different cutters here and they all cut pastrami for you. So they give you a sample of pastrami and then they'll take your order. So there's no record of how much the pastrami sandwich cost when they first opened. But considering they opened around the same time that PJ Clark's opened, when a hamburger and cheeseburger cost about 15 cents, we can probably assume that the pastrami sandwich here cost about 20 to 30 cents back in the day. Right now, you get a pastrami sandwich for $28. 100 times more expensive. So interesting fact, this place was actually originally called the Iceland Brothers. It was a small deli out here, but then somebody named Willie Katz came and took over the business in 1903. So that's when he turned it into Katz Deli. All right, guys, we got the goods.
Look how much meat there is.
Oh my gosh. Let's dig in. This has got to be the best pastrami that I've ever had. When you go to the counter, they'll spread mustard across your rye bread, and then they slap on a huge slab of pastrami onto the sandwich, layer it with cheese. Doesn't get any much better than that.
Definitely better than PJ Clark's. Both 1880s, but I would say this is worth the money.
You gotta save your stomach, bro. We got a lot to eat.
I know.
All right, enough about cats. We got more decades to visit. Let's go to the next spot. All right, guys, now we're in 1896. Behind us, you guys might recognize this spot, Rouse. It's because it's a famous pasta sauce brand too. They're actually the same company. Now, this place is extremely hard to get into. We actually couldn't get a reservation, so we're gonna get some takeout. Let's see why this place has been in business for over 100 years now. All right, guys, this place is extremely busy. I think there's somebody famous actually inside of there. Yeah. So this actually took a while. What do we order here, Brian?
So this is a cabbage sauce with sausage rigatoni.
Wow. Now, is that pretty traditional?
I don't know. I've never had anything like this. I asked him for a recommendation, and this is what he recommended.
Wow, dude, there's a lot of cabbage. The pasta is perfectly cooked to al dente. The cabbage reminds me of like a kimchi, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's in the tomato sauce.
A little spicy. Tomato sauce is really condensed, really rich and potent. Fun fact, the reason why it's impossible to get a table reservation at Rouse is because all the tables are grandfathered in. So if your family isn't part of the tables, you can't really get in, unless you have connections. So they have really famous celebrity clientele like Jimmy Fallon, Jay-Z. So inside the cameras are not allowed, but from what I see, the walls are filled with celebrity pictures, every square inch.
That is pretty cool. Now, how much did this pasta cost us?
This was $27 with tax.
$27? Well, guess what, man? Back in the day, this would have cost 75 cents when they opened. That's about 130 years ago. I wouldn't say it's that great. I think the history really carries it. But guys, this pasta is solid, but I'm ready for the next decade. All right, guys, now we're in the 1900s. Behind me is Lombardi's, America's first pizzeria.
And also Totino's, Grimaldi's, all those famous guys learned from this original location.
So they're the OGs. Let's go see how it tastes. All right, guys, right here in front of us, we have a margarita pizza. It's the fact that they have a restaurant here, the first pizzeria that was opened in 1900s. I mean, they've been in business for what, over 120 years now? Around the 1900s, a meal would typically range between 50 cents to $1. Right now, this pizza pan probably costs about 30 bucks. Let's see if it's good. Let's see how it tastes.
Wow, the crust is thin. It's crispy, but there's also a good amount of chewiness. The dough is very moist, very saucy too.
Dude, I love this pizza.
What do you think? Chicago pizza versus New York pizza?
New York pizza for sure.
And mind you, all the legendary pizza spots originated from here. There's another old pizzeria spot called Totino. They've been around for almost 100 years too, but that guy used to work here. And then other places would go to Totino's, work there, and branch out. So technically, they're the grandchildren or great-grandchildren.
It's pretty crazy to think that 1905 was a time when Nikola Tesla was working in New York City. When I'm thinking about Nikola Tesla, it's like an archaic name, but to find out that the pizza here was started in New York at that same time is pretty crazy. To be honest, I came in here not expecting much, but I'm pleasantly surprised. I would say it's up there as one of the best pizzas in New York, in my opinion. I like Scar's in Prince Street, but then this one is up there in my top 3 right now. All right, guys, so we're gonna finish up this pizza and we'll head on to the next decade. Let's go. All right, guys, now we're in the 1920s. Behind us is Nam Hua Tea Parlor, the oldest Chinese restaurant in New York City.
And also, it was used for a lot of famous movies and TV shows, such as Amazing Spider-Man 2, Law and Order, and also the Met Gala pre-party was held here back in 2015.
All right, man. Well, apparently, this is where the bao gol was created. It's a bao bun bagel. So hopefully they have it. Let's go check it out, man. This place doesn't have the bao gol anymore, but apparently this is actually the first dim sum parlor in New York City. So we gotta get some dim sum.
And dim sum, as you know, it just means small plates consisting of dumplings and other small snacks.
Interesting fact, back in the day, each dish typically cost between 5 to 10 cents, but now it's like $5 per about. We're looking at another 100x increase in price.
Open since 1920, that's more than 100 years ago.
Shall we dig in?
Yeah, so this is the roast pork bun. So it's basically a bao bun. It's sweet, savory, lots of spices in there. I smell ginger and cinnamon.
They stuffed this with a lot of meat.
Big chunks too, look at this. Surprisingly, the meat is tender, but there are large chunks of onion in there that isn't my favorite.
I just bit into an onion too. I'm ready for a shrimp roll, bro. This is my all-time favorite order at dim sum, any dim sum.
The sauce is really good. The rice ball is more bready.
Rice roll, also known as a chung fan, is a traditional Cantonese dish. When you order one of these, you're gonna expect something tender and slightly chewy. Usually when you see it like translucent like this, you know, you see the meat inside. It's a pretty appetizing dish.
I will say one thing, the oldest and first doesn't always mean best.
I feel like so far throughout this video, that's what I'm realizing too. These guys are successful because they've been around for so long. Like this place has been open for over 100 years. So far it's good, not the best though.
This is a phoenix bun. I think there's some kind of egg inside of it.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like an egg custard.
It is very good though.
I mean, it's basically custard. Salty, sweet, rich, creamy, and extremely hot.
You guys gotta come here for this.
If this was my first decade, I would eat 10 of these.
All right guys, we're gonna finish up and then we're gonna head over to the next decade. Let's get it.
Food coma.
All right guys, now we're in the 1940s at the oldest French restaurant in New York City, Le Tout Va Bien. Man, I'm excited. This place got a lot of history and I love French food. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Allons-y.
Around the 1940s, a meal typically cost between 50 cents to $1. And I was looking even further, rent costed $12 to $34 per month.
I would have like 10 rents, bro. So fun fact, guys, this place first opened in 1949 by Nina and Carlo Migliaccio. Carlo Migliaccio was a former Italian soccer player.
So I'm looking online and actually back in the day, this specific restaurant for an appetizer, entree, 2 vegetables, rolls, beverage, and the dessert, 65 cents.
Wow.
As the oldest French restaurant in New York City, let's see how it tastes. It's gotta be good, right?
Yeah.
So right here, we have escargot, was considered a food for the poor. Later, it became a symbol of luxury and sophistication. Now it's a staple in French cuisine. Just like snails, herbs, doused in butter. Dude,
That's really good.
no
I
wonder.
kind of want to get one for myself.
Who came up with the idea to cook a snail and eat it?
Like this thing right here keeps the butter super hot.
Look how big these snails are, for real. I think we gotta try the next dish, bro. So the history of the French onion soup, this was originally created to cure hangovers for the French people back in the day. The reason why they call this the French onion soup is because onions were readily available in France. Look at this, look how creamy this is. Inside you have, I believe, a baguette. You have onions that were caramelized, and you just have a lot of cheese. And I believe inside this is kind of like a beef broth base. Wow, that is so dense in flavor, bro.
And that subtle sweetness.
Straight from the onions. Yeah, I mean, this is another one of the things, man. You take a baguette, dip it in, eat it up, man. Oh my gosh. So right here, guys, we have mussels and fries. It's a Belgian dish, but very popular in France. Let's see how it is. Well, how much better can it get? It's just mussels and fries, you know?
Yeah.
I think they make this with like a white wine. All the liquid really comes from the mussels, a lot of herbs. Overall, this is a solid. I think so far, this is probably my favorite spot.
Escargot's banging, 9 out of 10. Solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. And then the French soup, I would say that's like a 9, 9.5.
9 out of 10 for sure. To be honest, this is the most solid French spot that I've been to in New York so far.
And also, this is our 7th spot, so we've had plenty of food, but I'm willing to eat more.
All right, guys, we're gonna clear these plates and we'll head on to the next decade. Let's go. All right, guys, now we're on to the 1950s. Right behind me is Serendipity 3 Cafe. This spot was actually featured in a lot of movies, right?
Yeah, including the movie with the same name, Serendipity.
All right, man, let's go see what it's all about. We're coming here for the famous frozen hot chocolate. As you guys saw, it's $20 right now. How much was it back in the day when they first opened?
It was $3.50. Another fun fact, so far 6 couples have gotten married in frozen hot chocolate.
That is
so
good.
it's a weird tradition. I don't know who started it, but
In the 1950s, it was after World War II, so there was a lot of economic boom and prosperity. So full of good vibes. You guys can see it, man. This spot, full of good vibes. I'm ready to eat, man. I'm ready to try this out. Should we dig in? Whoa, that's sweet. Got brain food. I mean, to be honest, pretty good though.
it's really chilling.
This frozen hot chocolate is perfect for the summer right now. It's humid outside, super cool inside. I can see why people got married in a frozen hot chocolate.
Yeah, honestly, it was refreshing. A fun little decade.
I think I'm ready for the next decade, man. Let's go. All right, guys, now we're in the 1960s. We're actually at a soul food landmark out here in Harlem, New York. It's called Sylvia's.
Originally known as Johnson's Luncheonette, is where Sylvia Woods moved from South Carolina and started working there. And then 18 years later, with the help of a loan from her mother, she was able to take over the place.
Wow, and I think it's a family-run business, right?
Still, to this day.
All right, man. Well, I think I'm ready for some soul food. Let's go check it out.
That's my hero right here, Mr. Denzel Washington. Mr. Obama, Beyonce.
All right, guys, we just got an order from Sylvia's. Each of these cost about 30 bucks. Can you believe that? It's a lot of food though, man. Ooh, that is a massive piece of fried chicken right there. Dark meat, you got the mac and cheese, and you got the pork ribs. When Sylvia's opened in 1962, mac and cheese cost about 50 cents and fried chicken cost $1. This is like $30 in total. So we're looking at probably like a 20x multiple.
This is fall off the bone tender.
Fried chicken's fresh out the fryer, baby. Yo, this fried chicken is seasoned pretty well, man. That's super crispy right here. No, aren't you full, bro?
One thing I will say though, probably one of the best customer service. Everybody was super welcoming. You know, it just felt homey in there. Very comfortable.
You know what I came to realize, bro? They really treat you with their soul, man. I rarely come up to Harlem, but for soul food, this might be worth the trip. Let's try the mac and cheese real quick. Very cheesy. Mac and cheese, all right. But let's see how the pork spare ribs are. Wow, I like it. It's like sweet, but it's also got kind of like a ketchup-y element to it. A little bit sour and definitely a bit smoky too. I can't wait to try what these candied yams taste like. It smells really sweet. Bro, that is so sweet, but so good.
This is a perfect dessert. Imagine having like vanilla ice cream with it.
Man, but you guys see it, we got a lot of work left to do. We'll see you at the next decade. All right, guys, now we're in the 1980s at the Odeon. This is actually a restaurant opened by restaurateur Keith McNally. Back in the day when they first opened, a lot of celebrities, artists, and even the Saturday Night Live cast, they'll come and dine here.
Also, fun fact, one of the most influential cocktails was made here at the Odeon, and I'll talk about it inside.
Okay, all right, let's go, man.
It's 11:30, but I let them know we were gonna be late.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, they stopped us, saw our camera, and said we're not allowed to film inside. So we respectfully left the restaurant to continue the video. We're gonna order some steak frites. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty excited for it, but here's some fun facts to know.
Yeah, so back in the 1980s, the dish would have cost in between $15 to $25, which is kind of similar to what it is right now. Another fun fact is the Cosmopolitan cocktail, which is one of the most influential and globally acclaimed cocktails, was invented right here at the Odeon.
That is pretty crazy. I wish we could have tried that.
I know.
We gotta head on to the next decade. Let's go. All right, guys, now we're in the 1990s. Right behind us is Balthazar, a French restaurant opened by a restaurateur Keith McNally.
Yeah, back when it opened in 1997, it was impossible to get in without a connection. But now, you can get in pretty easily.
All right, I think we go ahead and check it out, man.
Let's do it. So back in 1997, the appetizers were about 10 to 15, entrees 20 to 30.
Still expensive.
It is, because back in the day, it was still considered a high-end restaurant.
But that was like almost 30 years ago, and the prices are actually the same.
Don't say almost 30, because that's when I was born. I'm 27.
Looking at the menu right now, not much has changed in terms of the price.
I think so.
All right, guys, so what we have here, we have our eggs Benedict, it was $19. The croque monsieur and the Belgian waffles, both $23. The croque monsieur is one of the most classic French dishes, they say. You have ham and cheese on top of some bread.
Interesting fact, Balthazar is actually ranked #1 on Fodor's list of celebrity sightings.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's out in Soho, you know? It's a very popular spot.
Pretty solid.
I think based on the waffles, pretty good. Let's try this eggs Benedict, though.
That is beautiful. That's really good.
It's an eggs Benedict at the end of the day. I feel like, you know, you can't go wrong with it. You know, maybe this place is just more reliable. Let's dig into this. So far, everything has been very simple. I never had that before, but that's pretty good. The cheese is very sharp.
Slightly better than ham and cheese.
So overall, Balthazar, if you're looking for just like a, you know, I guess a solid breakfast spot, maybe you can stop by here, but nothing really mind-blowing, but it's good. It's just not something worth traveling for.
Oh, definitely not.
So yeah, let's go to the next spot. All right, guys, now we're in the 2000s. 20 years ago in 2004, Chef David Chang opened up Momofuku. There's a bit of controversy surrounding David Chang and Momofuku right now. Because it's such a popular spot in New York, we're gonna go check out the food, see how it tastes, and I will share with you guys our thoughts.
My favorite calorie system.
Fun fact, Momofuku means lucky peach in Japanese. It's also a play on the name Momofuku Ando, who's the founder of instant ramen.
Wow. Thank you. Same recipe for 20 years. First thought, look how big this pork belly is. That is pretty insane. All right, let's dig in. That is really juicy, really fatty. This chashu right here, it falls apart in the mouth. Super tender. It's perfectly crispy on the outside, and inside is just so fatty and so juicy. This is actually one of the best pork buns I've had, I'm not gonna lie. Whoa. Whoa. Yo. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh my gosh, bro, that looks so good. We might need to order another one.
Whoa. Initial thoughts, it tastes like a campfire. Just because of how smoky and fiery it is, you can smell it.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this. Dude, that is such a good ramen. You know what's funny? In DC, Momofuku actually closed. And I can't believe that because of how good this is. Now, around the time of 2004, there was probably a lot of authentic ramen spots. I think what Momofuku was kind of like an elevated or just a different take on ramen without taking away so much from its roots. Let's try the garlic chicken ramen though. Wow. Dude, you can smell the garlic. The thing is so much umami and extremely herbaceous, man. It's got so much flavors in here. As soon as you sip the broth, you can taste the garlic. It's pungent, but it's not overwhelming.
As I'm inhaling, the garlic air is like traveling down my trachea.
I think if you guys come here, I would actually recommend getting these two. Get the pork buns. You might even want to get more. We're gonna wrap it up here for the 2000s. Now, let's go to 2010s. All right, guys, now we're in 2010s. Right behind me is Los Tacos #1. They opened up in 2013 by 3 friends from Tijuana. They aspire to be the #1 taco spot in New York. All right, man, I think we go ahead and try it. Let's see what this decade's about. All right, so right in front of me, we have a carne asada taco and an al pastor taco with everything on it, onions, cilantro. When they first opened up in 2013, the tacos were priced at how much per?
Around $3.50 per taco.
And now each of these tacos are about $4.50 to $5.50. This looks pretty good. I think we dig in, man.
All right, let's get to it. Cheers.
Wow. You know, as someone from California, I was a little skeptical about this spot, bro. But I think they're right, man. Whatever New York was missing back in 2010s with their taco game, they definitely brought it to the city. This is one of the best tacos that I've ever had.
It's crazy because the taco shells are very fluffy. You know, oftentimes tacos, they just slap a tiny little thin taco shell on there, but this one is really balanced.
Their avocado sauce, it's amazing. Man, you guys saw, man. I think this is like our 14th spot now, and we just cleared these tacos. We're so full, but the food was so good. Now we gotta head to the next spot. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, we're finally in the 2020s, 2024, guys. We're at the newest open restaurant out here in New York City, Strange Delights. Final restaurant for you guys. NOLA-based restaurant, but very hip, hits the young demographic, people our age. This is their smoked fish dip, fried saltines, escalette pepper, and I believe there's dill and some parsley here in this. Wow, extremely herbaceous. Now, can you believe though that this is $18?
It's really good. Like the greens are really fresh.
All right, guys, what you guys see here is our seafood tower. $80 right here. We have 4 big shrimp. We have fish dip, 6 pieces of local oyster. Oh, we got some crudo here. You know what $80 to get you in the 1760s? Multiple acres of farmland, bro. Ready?
Oh my god, that's so fresh.
Look at that massive shrimp, bro. The cocktail sauce is fresh, it's sweet, a little spicy. So right here in front of us, we have some fresh hush puppies, literally like fried cornbread. You guys see the steam there? Oh, okay, brown sugar and butter. It's really good, man. You gotta try some.
Oh wow. Breading itself is really creamy, buttery. But this dip right here is a brown sugar butter dip. Huh? So guys, interesting fact, the owners actually met in Coachella near the Shake Shack station back in 2018. This is the brainchild.
That is something you would only hear in 2020s, man.
And also, I will say, service here, top notch.
This guy loves service, man.
Service.
So back in the days, you know, when people were fishing along the shores and they were on their wooden boats, they probably couldn't catch fish like this. But because of commercialized fishing, fish like swordfish is more accessible and in fine dining like today. So yeah, we have here the blackened swordfish, and then we have here fried oyster po' boy. And this looks really good, man.
It's really good. And then the hot sauce, really fresh. It is spicy.
Yeah, it brings in that citrusy. Look at how juicy this looks. That's so fatty. That might be the highlight of this whole restaurant, bro. Extremely fatty, extremely juicy, extremely flavorful. So, yo, I think we should wrap up the video picking our favorite and then our worst decade.
For my favorite decade, 1880s, Cats. Not only does it live up to its name, even when compared to modern foods, it holds its own weight. Cat's Deli, the flavor, the tenderness of the pastrami, it's dreamy. If there's a decade that I would avoid, the OGM, even though we didn't even eat there. The moment we stepped in, whoever it was that greeted us, dude, he was like super rude to us.
If I could go back to a decade, and I'm gonna get some hate for this, but Momofuku was my favorite. You know, not only is it just traditional Japanese ramen, but it was a bit elevated and more creative. Say what you want to say about David Chang, but he pioneered that way to have a different lens for ramen. If I could avoid a decade though, I would actually avoid the 1880s. Now you guys remember PJ Clark's? Now the burger was good, it was simple, but it's just like so boring. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we're so spoiled now in the 2020s. Back in the day, like they just had meat and bread and some lettuce and put it together and call it a cheeseburger. That's literally it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. What decade would you guys want to go back to visit and eat some food? If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.